I remember when you took us to Chopin's birthplace, and I was trying to understand what you were talking about with the intangibles, and for me it was important to sit on the floor because Chopin would have been shorter, and when he looked out the window he would have been looking from down below, not from up above.
Yes, and the problem is that they completely restored the building, and I don't know what is the situation at the present, but I'm afraid that presumably you will be in perfectly restored historical building. But to be sure that you are sitting on the same floor as Chopin is not true.
Yeah, When we went to the salt mine, you seemed to be upset because of them selling beer down below. Can you talk about that? Because that's obviously not the set of impressions of.
Well, because they transfer it as playground where you can just drink beer, have a fun, but it's not necessary in the very particular place.
Would it seem more appropriate to you if there were people mining salt?
Yeah, they can drink beer not on the ground but also upper on the earth. Was it the drinking the beer or the fact that they had a concession? Both. It is both combination, because there for sure there is some money behind the story, and presumably there is a business to sell the beer.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't see the beer over there.
Była tam taka.
No, you drank it.
No, I did not. If I knew it was over there, I could remember. Probably I missed this.
On the end there was this kind of.
It was
all the way down underground. They get you to the end, and then they say that you can pay more money to go further to the museum, the geological museum,
or have a beer.
Or have a beer.
No, but
well, that's kind of a choice. What do you want to know? Do you want to know more about it? A salt mine of 1,000 years, there's something to know there besides just walking through, or do you just want to have a beer and go to the next place?
Yeah, it's not my private opinion, private impression. Therefore, maybe I'm not perfectly seeing the situation, and maybe such a beer in between is needed. To create possibility to continue.
No, I think I remember the place. It didn't look like a place I would like to have a beer and a good time over there. It was like, no, I don't think.
It looks for me very artificial.
Yeah, no.
Yes, no, I agree with you. That's why I'm curious. Here we call that Disney.
Yeah.
It's not only even Disney. It was in bad style design.
The design of this interior. No, it's that's probably the reason I give pass on beer, because I could drink the beer sitting on the salt block, looking, watching. Okay, that could be fine, but drink the beer in completely, just like it was not even style of 60s of the interior design of it. It was some kind of industrial setup, no.
And maybe this was depressive feeling that they have not even thinking about doing something. It will be much more appropriate to the place, to the site.
When we went to the Wyckoff house in Brooklyn the last time that you were here, you seemed interested in the way they had. I got an impression, one, the way they had revealed the hole in the wall with the plastic over it, so that you could see into the wall, and then the other was the way they worked out their gift shop and how it connected with children. I've been curious since then. What was your interest?
Because this is the absolutely important instrument of conservation to create contacts with the visitors, young and old. Because if you are doing the restoration only for yourself, to satisfy yourself, it is crazy. you are doing things for a public purposes. And you have to think how the reception will be, what sort of activity this object will provide. Because if you are thinking in the technology only aspects of professional attitudes, it's part of preservation, technical part of preservation. And my concern is much wider, not only technical. Because maybe you are not able to do a perfect conservation in the technology, because the problems are difficult, but the most important is how the historical object will be cooperating with the society, how it will be recognized, how it will be closer to the society.
What do you feel is the value of, in that question, what is the value of restoring in the state of the world as it is? I mean, why restore anything?
You have to restore because it is only one way to preserve it, to protect it. Therefore, if there is a need to restore part of the building or some areas to show, to present this building in the historical way, it is needed. There is the discussion between Lebork and John Ruskin, where we're stopped with the reconstruction, and also it's a problem of restoration. How far we can go deep with the restoration, what is not needed, because it is a constant discussion. There is no easy answers. Everything depends on the possibilities of economical situation and of course of the needs. Depending general approach of the people as users and people as decision makers, there is a change in their opinion. For some reasons, some objects are so perfectly restored to show the genuinity of the historical material, but sometimes it's not needed. Sometimes it's not needed because it will cost too much, and in fact it's not absolutely needed to preserve it.
Where does the need come from?
From our perception.
Yeah, you're certainly talking about preservation as it relates to society as a whole.
It is from our perception, because the most important thing is that there is a general feeling that historical buildings has to be utilized and be useful. Sometimes they are not able because of the so great change. But remodeling the historical buildings by converting them for a new purposes, it kills this historical fabric, it kills these feelings, because colors change, refurbishing of the interiors are changed and so on. Therefore, sometimes maybe it is easier to destroy this building.
Video by Prilep PCLS. Google us.